is the voice in the wilderness of the people coming to you in the great wind. This is the day that IAH has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. I come in the name of IAH, our Redeemer, praying that He has kept you in good health and in great strength. He has protected you from all danger, from all accidents, from all iniquity and all the plagues. And you yourself has continued to keep your promise to IAH, your Redeemer, by giving Him thanks and singing His praise and calling His name, doing His commandments and hoping in His promises. My brothers and sisters, I'm here again with the word of IAH from our book. Now I will read to you from the book of EZEKIAH, and I will begin in chapter 7 and verse 8. And it reads, And the word of IAH came unto Zechariah, saying, Speak, IAH of hosts, saying, Execute true judgment, show mercy, compassion, every man to his brother. The word that came to Zechariah to say unto the children of Israel is that everyone should show judgment, everyone should speak to their brother, show compassion, good judgment, every one of us to one another. And oppress not the widow, nor the fatherless, the stranger, nor the poor. And let none of us imagine evil against thy brother in thy heart. But they refused to hearken. They refused to obey IAH. They refused to obey Zechariah when he speak to them the words of IAH. They refused to obey the prophet of IAH. But they refused to hearken and pulled away their shoulder, stomped their ears, that they should not hear. They make their hearts as an adamant stone, hard, lest their shoulder they should hear the law. They don't want to hear, so they close their ears. And there's a lot of our brothers and sisters who believe by them not hearing that they have an excuse. And they don't know that there is no excuse for them not hearing this word when IAH put it out in the wind, in the great congregation. And the words that IAH of hosts have sent in his spirit by the former prophets, therefore came a great wrath from IAH of hosts, because we wouldn't listen to the words that IAH have sent unto us through the prophets by his spirit. We are going to suffer. We are going to be punished. We are going to be persecuted and downtrodden. And we will have to work for our enemies in the want of all things. Therefore it is come to pass that as he cried, and they would not hear, so they cried, and IAH will not hear, says our Redeemer of hosts. IAH is saying, as he sent all these messengers to us, crying out to us what we should do, and we are not doing it, so too, when we cry out, he will not hear us. IAH says, I scatter them with a whirlwind among all the nations whom they knew not. Thus the land was desolate after them. So IAH have scattered us among all the nations and left the land that he gave us desolate. No man passed to nor return, for they laid the pleasant land desolate. There's nobody there of us. We are not there. We left the land. Chapter 8. Again, the word of IAH of hosts came to Zechariah, saying, Thus says IAH of hosts, I was jealous for Zion with great jealousy, and I was jealous for her with great fury. Protective. Jealous in this sense here means watchful, protective, looking out. Thus says IAH, I am returned unto Zion, and will dwell in the midst of Jerusalem. And Jerusalem shall be called a city of truth, and the mountain of IAH of hosts, the holy mountain. The city will be called the city of truth, and the holy mountain, Mount Moriah. Thus says IAH of hosts, there shall yet old men and old women dwell in the streets of Jerusalem, and every man with his staff in his hand for very age. Every man will have their staff in their hand. They will be very old, but they will be walking in the streets. And the street of the city shall be full of boys and girls playing in the streets thereof. Old men, old women, young men, young girls, they will be in the streets. Thus says IAH of hosts, if it be marvellous in the eyes of the remnant of this people in these days, it will be marvelous in the eyes of the remnant in those days when it's happening. Should it also be marvelous in my eyes? Says IAH of hosts. Thus says IAH of hosts, behold, I will save my people from the east country and from the west country, and I will bring them, and they shall dwell in the midst of Jerusalem, and they shall be my people, and I will be their Redeemer, in truth and in righteousness. The remnant of IAH are those who call upon him. The remnant of IAH are those who seek him. The remnant of IAH are those who do his commandments and live by his principles that he have laid down before us. The remnant of IAH are those that choose to be right. 9. Thus says IAH of hosts, let your hands be strong, yea, that hear in these days these words by the mouth of the prophets. IAH is saying to you, he says, let your hands be strong, you that hear in the days these words by the mouth of the prophet. You who are alive, you who have strength, you who are breathing, you who are alive, have eyes and have ears. See the word of the prophets. or hear the words of the prophet. Know the words of the prophets that were in the day that the foundation of the house of IAH of hosts was laid, that the temple might be built. You who are alive, see what IAH is saying to you. See what he is saying to you. Hear the words of the prophet that he sent to you, the words he protect with his Holy Spirit. Put it through the prophets, those who he gave his name to bring it unto you. For before these days there was no hire for man, nor any hire for beast. Neither was there any peace to him that went out or came in because of the affliction. For IAH set all men, every one, against his neighbor. The earth, as it was in the past, will be again. The earth now is experiencing confusion like in the days of our besiegement in the temple. The earth now is uneasy as it were when our affliction came in Jerusalem. Listen the word of IAH that he speak to the prophet that he sent unto you. I set all men, every one, against his neighbor. My dear brothers and sisters, are we not in a time when everyone is against their neighbor? But now I will not be unto the residue of this people as in the former days. I am saying to us, the time is here when he will not treat us the way he treated our fathers, says IAH of hosts. For the children, the seed, the residue, are the seeds, the children. For the seed shall be prosperous. The vine, the offspring, shall give her fruit. And the ground, the land, shall give her increase. And the IAH in heaven shall give dew, rain, blessings. And IAH will cause the remnant of his people, the remnant, those who are not afraid of his name. For he told us in Malachi that whosoever shall call shall be delivered. To possess all these things, the remnant of his people, the people that is called by his name and is not afraid to say that they are called by the name of IAH. They are Israelites. They shall possess all these things. And it shall come to pass that as you were a curse among the heathen, you, IAH, you, O house of IAH, and house of EZER-IAH. EZER-IAH is a curse unto their neighbors in the east. IAH is a curse unto the nations in the west. That's who he is speaking to. And he says, I will repeat, and it shall come to pass that as you were a curse among the heathens, O house of IAH and house of EZER-IAH, so will I save you, and you shall be a blessing. Fear not, but let your hands be strong. Let your power be strong. Let your mind be strong. Let your words be strong. let your doing be righteous. O children of EZER-IAH and EZER-IAH. IAH is saying this to you. For thus says IAH of hosts, as IAH thought to punish you when your fathers provoked his wrath, says IAH of hosts, and he repented not. When our ancestors provoked IAH with their idols, IAH punished them. He did not repent. He didn't stop. He punished them. So again have I thought in these days to do well unto Jerusalem and to the house of EZER-IAH. Fear not. So IAH is saying to us in 15, as he punished us when our fathers did wrong and they got him angry, so again we have had him in anger. We are disturbing him. We are being disobedient to him. We are doing the same thing our ancestors had been doing. But in these days, unto the remnant, those that will listen to the prophets, those that will listen to the words that the Spirit brought unto us by the prophets, IAH is saying, I will do well unto them and unto the land, and we should have no fear. 16. These are the things that you shall do. Here he's going to tell us what we have to do. Speak you every man the truth to his neighbor. Execute the judgment of truth and peace in your gates. And let none of you imagine evil in your heart against your neighbor. And love no false oath, for all these are things that IAH hates, says our Redeemer. Don't take no false oaths. Baptism is a false oath. It has not been taken in the name of IAH. It is not a requirement of IAH. Communion and confirmation is false oaths. Joining religion and in Christianity is false oaths. Islam, joining is false oath. Judaism, false oaths. You don't have to join any religion. You are a people chosen by IAH by bloodline. You are not to convert to any religion. You are belongings to IAH. You are his possession. Hear the word of IAH of host as it come into your ears. And the word of IAH of hosts came unto Zechariah, saying, Thus says IAH of hosts, the fast of the first month, and the fast of the 5th, and the fast of the 7th, and the fast of the 10th shall be to the house of EZER-IAH joy and gladness, cheerful feast. Therefore love the truth and peace. Thus says IAH of hosts, it shall yet come to pass that there shall come people and the inhabitants of many cities. And the inhabitants of one city shall go to another, saying, let us go speedily to pray before IAH, and to seek IAH of hosts. I will also go. Yea, many people, strong nations, shall come to seek IAH of hosts in Jerusalem, in the place where he chose to put his name, Moriah and Mount Moriah, in the place where he chose to put EZER-IAH, the tribe that had his name, the place where the house was built for his name. And they will go there to pray before IAH. Where? In your land that is now desolate, your land that is without you, your land that is now desolate, not in Ham's land, not in the European land, not in the land of captivity, not in some strange land. It's the land that was given to our fathers as a possession. It's the same land that was given to them we have to go back to. It's the same laws that was given to them we have to do. It's the same name that was given to them we have to call. It's the same mountain, Mount Moriah, we have to go back to, as when they left the land of Egypt they had to go to. Thus says IAH of hosts, in those days it shall come to pass. In those days it shall come to pass that 10 men shall take hold out of all languages of the nations, even shall take hold of the skirt of him that is an Israelite, saying, we will go with you, for we have heard that IAH is with you. My dear brothers and sisters, I will stop here. I wanted to follow up this with my other video to let you know what IAH has in preparation for us as a people. We have to rebuild that temple. We have to put his name back, as it were, in the time of our forefathers. That's the use of the temple. It's a house for his name. And as we say on a daily basis, our Father who is in heaven, praise be to your name. For your rulership will come on earth one day, now as it is in heaven. Give us every day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And let us never be led into temptation, and deliver us from all evil. For it is your power, and it is your glory, and it is be forever and ever. As we ask him to be our shepherd, and let us never be in want, to make us lie down in his green pasture, to lead us beside his still waters, to restore our soul in his path of righteousness for his name's sake. And although we walk through the valley this valley of the shadow of death, we will fear no evil, for IAH will be with us. We ask IAH to comfort us with his rod and with his staff, his holy watchers. We ask IAH to prepare before us a table while we are in the presence of our enemies. We ask IAH to anoint our head with his holy oil so his light could shine upon us. And we ask him to fill our cup that it will run over, and to ask for him to allow his goodness and his mercy to follow us all the days of our lives, so we can dwell in his house, calling his name forever and ever. We praise IAH. We praise IAH. We praise IAH. And sisters, I will now read Psalm 74. And it reads, O IAH, why hast thou cast us off? Hast thou cast us off forever? Why is thy anger smoking against us, the sheep of your pasture? Remember your congregation that you hast purchased of old, the rod of thine inheritance, which thou hast redeemed. This Mount Zion, wherein thou hast dwelt. Lift up thy feet unto the perpetual desolation. Even all that the enemy has done wickedly in the sanctuary. They have destroyed. They have brought in sacrifice of abomination in our house. They then turn around and break it down. Why? Because our fathers have sinned against IAH. Because of our sin, IAH allowed this to happen, to teach us a lesson. Verse 4. Thine enemies roar in the midst of thy congregation. They have set up their ensign for signs. A man was famous according as he had lifted up axes upon the thick trees. But now they break down the carved work thereof at once with axe and hammers. They have cast fire into thy sanctuary. They have defiled by casting down the dwelling place of your name to the ground. Listen, my brothers and sisters, listen. They said in their hearts, let us destroy them together. They have burned up all the temple, the place of worship to IAH in the land. We see not our signs. Your name is not up there anymore, IAH. There is no more any prophet, neither is there among us any that knows how long. O IAH, how long shall the adversary reproach? Shall the enemy blaspheme thy name forever? Are they going to put your name among idols? Are they going to compare you with idols? Would they put your name among the heathen that reproaches your name? Why withdraws thou thy hand, even thy right hand? Pluck it out of thy bosom. IAH is my King of old, working salvation in the midst of the earth. Can you see his salvation? Can you see he is working? Can't you see what he's doing in the earth? IAH divide the sea by thy strength. IAH break the head of the dragon in the waters. IAH breaketh the head of Leviathan in pieces, and gave him to be meat to the people inhabiting the wilderness. Thou didst cleave the fountain and the flood. Thou dry up mighty rivers. The day is yours. The night is yours. You have prepared the light and the sun. IAH's glory is not the sun. Thou hast set all the borders of the earth. Thou hast made summer and winter. Remember this, that the enemy has reproached, O IAH, and that the foolish people have blasphemed thy name. O deliver not the soul of thy turtle dove unto the multitude of the wicked. Forget not the congregation of your poor forever. I have respect unto the covenant, for the dark places of the earth are full of the inhabitants of cruelty. That's the day, my dear brothers and sisters, that has come. Oh, let not the oppressed return ashamed. Let the poor and needy praise you by your name. Arise, O IAH, plead thine own cause. Remember how the foolish man reproach your name daily. They have now put your name among the idols, and they now equate you with the moon. IAH, you see what they have done. Forget not the voice of thine enemies, the tumult of those that rise up against you. They continue to increase continually. Oh IAH, hear the voice of your servants. They have taken your name and equate it with the name of Baal. They now put you in the ranks of Baphomet. O IAH, my Redeemer, thou see what the evil ones have done? They are now seeking to destroy your very remnant with their false doctrines. Stand up, IAH, and stop them. Stand up for the sake of your chosen. Stand up for those whom you have called, those whom you have given your name. Stand out and show us your salvation. Let not your people go astray. Let not your remnant, the few you have chosen, let us never be deceived. O IAH, my Redeemer, protect your people, protect your name, keep your fame, your mighty power, your long, long mercies. Let your promises be steadfast and await your people. Let your people call upon your name and sing your prayers. Let your people call upon your name and glorify you. Let them never give your glory to another. Let them never give your glory, IAH, to another. Make your people know your name again. And stop those who seek to destroy your people. Stop them. I beg IAH. Stop them. May IAH bless you, all my brothers and sisters around the world. Even you, the strangers. You who seek IAH. Turn to IAH with your whole heart, your whole soul, and with all your strength. Serve Him with gladness, with joy and rejoicing. Raise your voice up as a trumpet, and let His name and His prayers be heard. We thank IAH for everything. I thank you, IAH, for everything. I thank you, IAH, for everything. Praise IAH. Praise IAH. Praise IAH.